What's up, guys? We're back again. It's been a couple days since we got the video going. Let me turn this music down. The last couple videos didn't do all that great. I don't know what I did differently. Some of them did, some of them didn't. So I don't know. Maybe it's just the way the algorithm works. Maybe it's the keyword searches. Maybe it's I don't know what causes YouTube videos to go up and to go down. I have no idea. But yesterday and the day before, I didn't feel too hot, so I didn't want to be on camera. But I'm not feeling great today. But I have to get stuff done. That's unfortunately just how it has to be. Is even if you don't feel good, sometimes you got to do stuff. And if I want to make it to this race coming up in June, I've got a lot of stuff that I've got to do. So that's how it has to be. Not complaining. I'm blessed to be able to get out here and do this, and I got some stuff done yesterday that I'm going to share with y'all. Stand by. Oh, my hand's blocking the camera. So I put in these big stringers. Now this one's cut obviously because the drive shaft has to go between it. So I'm going to build a loop that goes up, across, and then down to that one out of the same 3x3 thick wall steel. These are already welded in. That side's welded in, that side's welded in. I think this side's welded in. Yeah. So they're not going anywhere. But the purpose of that is our seat can sit on those bolt here, bolt here, bolt here, bolt here. Hang on, I gotta turn my brightness back up. My phone's dying, so I'm not gonna be able to film all of today. But our seat will be able to sit on that. Now, obviously, this is gonna be all sheet metal covering all of this, and you won't see any of the understructure. But we'll have an understructure to bolt our seat to, and then we'll bolt the seat to the back bar also. But that's what I'm working on today, is building this drive shaft loop out of the same material. That way, if this thing grenades, we're at least safe. And I'm going to put a small drive shaft loop over that joint in case that joint gives way. We don't get hurt. Granted, it'll be covered by a sheet metal trans tunnel. But still, we want to add as much safety in as we can for me and whoever's riding. But that should be plenty of width for a seat, and this should be plenty of width for my seat. I shouldn't need any more than that. So, and then we'll be able to put a console and whatnot right there. So, I'm still iffy on if the battery's going back here or not. I don't know. I'm hoping so. But it might get moved. But anyway, let me get to work. I've got to charge my phone. Unfortunately, this phone, I left it off the charger, and it's at like 4%, so it's not going to make it through the day of filming. So I'm going to charge this, and then we'll be back a little bit later. Well then, what is up, my people? I did a lot of stuff yesterday, and I didn't film. The shirt looks so big on me. I look like a child. Hang on, what if I like tighten the sleeves? Okay. Anyway, so I got a lot done yesterday off camera, including this. See that? It's also down into my eyebrow. I was playing with my puppy, who's 70 pounds, 75 pounds, and he gave me the old papa, the old skibbity baps, and his claw came right across my face. Yeah. So now I got that. And it bled. It bled a lot. Like, I had blood all down my face and hands. It looked like a murder. It looked like I got shot in the face. That was a joke for some of y'all. But anyway, I got a lot done. Pretty much almost a full interior in the car. I got the 4 beams put in that I previously showed you. I got both drive shaft loops installed and welded in. I got the back firewall in. I'll just show you. Hang on. Let me, you know what? We're just gonna. So I got the tunnel made. Okay. It's not mated up properly sitting there yet because I got to take it back out. I got this floor put in, self-tapered into the big drive shaft loop that is welded in. So that goes all the way to this frame, all the way to that side of the frame, and then so there's one of those going across each side for the seats to bolt to. And then, what is in my pocket? Oh, we'll just sit that there. We don't need that right now. What's in my other pocket? Oh, we don't need that either. So I got all that done. You can see my thing here. That whole firewall is in, and it's bent. Where's my hand? Bent here around and self-tapered into that firewall, and then up underneath it is attached along that crossbar that this dash and that dash are mounted to, and then it is mounted to the frame down below where the dash just fell over to. And then this, hang on, that fine specimen of a tunnel will go there and be self-tapered along that seam and along that seam, and then this seam will be covered by a nice aluminum seam after I trim it. This back piece will get trimmed more. As you can tell, it's not quite finished out like that side is. And it will get self-tapered to this back firewall, because as you saw under here is the main drive shaft loop. Up where the yoke is, there's another drive shaft loop in case it breaks at the yoke or in case it comes apart in the back. So we're covered there. Now, on this side, let's go ahead and pick these gauges back up. On this side, you can see how there's a screw there and a screw there and a big beam there and a big beam there. This is 3x3 box steel tubing. So we'll drill a hole here, drill a hole here, drill a hole in this one, drill a hole in that one, and that's where our seat will mount to. So we have a solid frame point for the seat to mount to. That way, in case of an accident, we'll be okay. And then our harnesses will weld the tab here to the frame. And then this big notch under here that I just showed you, that big steel beam that goes up and over, we will have a tab on that for the harness for the seat. So we'll have harness mounts here and then coming from the bar down. So we'll have, what is that, 4-point, 5-point, whatever. So today I'm going to work on putting in a cross structure here between this bar and this frame. That way I can put another piece of aluminum floor structure here to finish that off, and it'll self-taper to this, to that, and then to the crossbar, and then to the frame. And then it'll also self-taper across there where you see how that's self-tapered? So it'll self-taper into that, because behind that, you can see right there, there's another big steel beam that's about 3 by 3 going across there. Another big cross member, if you will. So, and you can see kind of up under where our firewall is mounted, up under there. So we got a lot of interior work done yesterday. And once again, this will be used in the corner of there to kind of finish that seam off. But it all looks kind of, you know, wonky right now because it's painted like my toy hauler, because, well, that's where I source the metal off, because this is all aluminum, and from right here, well, right there where that cut is, back is getting cut off and thrown away. So it's perfectly good aluminum. I mean, look how good this aluminum is. It's just got a goofy paint job on one side. So after it's all self-tapered together and sealed up good with trim, we're going to coat the whole thing in bed liner. That way it'll be not getting scratched up. It'll have good grip for your feet. It won't be getting scratched and dented, and if it gets wet, it won't be a big deal. There won't be rust. There won't be anything messing up the aluminum, discoloring the aluminum, anything like that. It'll be nice and protected by that. We also got some hose clamps, because remember, in the video we did of it running, we had a little fuel leak down there on our fuel line. So we're going to fix that while we're at it. So I'm going to get set up here, because the first thing I'm going to work on before I officially mount this trans tunnel in place is I'm going to mount this shifter. And so let me see if I can do this in a way that will allow y'all to see what I'm going to do. So I'm going to have a piece of steel welded to the floor, right, with a plate on top, with this shifter I got from my buddy Dave for a power glide. Actually, this is not for a power glide, just FYI, Dave. I know you thought it was for a power glide. This is actually for like a TH400 or something. Figured that out. And then this will mount to there. So then I can move my shifter, kind of angle it towards the driver if I want. I can bring it in closer to my leg if I want. I can put it further away from me if I want. And that kind of gives me the option to tailor where it sits in the car, because I'm going to weld it to the floor, and then this plate will be welded to that pipe, and then my cable, as it all falls down, my cable will run through the firewall to the transmission. But it's going to be easier to run the cable and hook it all up with the trans tunnel out. So that's what I'm going to work on right now. I'm probably going to not film this part quite yet, because we're going to go in and do some fabricating, some welds. So we're going to weld this to the plate to the pipe before it gets welded to the floor, and we're going to bolt this in loosely before we do all that. So
worry about leaving a better planet for our kids. How about leaving better kids for our planet? Entire generation offended at everything, getting mad that a human thinks all lives matter. We don't need black or white or left. Sense we need balance. We're all in the same boat. We say this is madness. I'm offended. Why does your house have a fence? I believe in two genders. I'm not mad at the rest. I'm just confused when a dude has a beard and some breasts. He won't always agree. No, I don't hate all police. No, I don't think that the system's racist. I just think the system hates people. I think fighting violence with more violence is what they want. Viruses and riots, people dying, we won't stay home. Black lives matter, all lives matter. What's all this division for? It's modern segregation. This is setting up a civil war. Burn the circus down, cause the world is full of clowns. They're all stupid and they're proud. Painted smiles on their mouths.
Reverse thread.
I don't hang with bozos, homie. I can be around you. Anyone who knows my feet don't fit in clown shoes. When I was a child, the only races that we hated were the ones that we ran
That
into.
explains a lot.
And we stopped playing with each other, started hating on each other, started noticing the color of our skin. Christians and atheists, immigrants, patriots. We love the country, but we are not saving it. Wages don't raise to the rate of inflation, and half of the country hates all of the nation. It's funny that we think the world owes us something. All the phones got smart, but the people so dumb. We care more about the likes on a selfie than our moms, and the only time we ever speak the truth.
Let me change this
We
music.
won't always agree. No, I don't hate all police. No, your thoughts and opinions ain't facts, and they are not defining my reality. No, I think.
Some people don't like that kind of music, so.
Chasing after that dollar like it'll slow down my hurry. Settle all my worries when I get it in my wallet. Quit dipping long enough to own a pair of chains that don't have a ring in the back left pocket. Laughing at myself, admitting when I'm wrong. That's what this good old
I don't know
boy
what happened there. My welder
gonna
is
go
not
out working on.
cooperating today.
Turn off mama's tears and feel our daddy's bones. Shutting off our car, fixing bridges we burn. Learning how to live.
It's packed pretty good.
Keeping our demons down and our trucks up and running. Loving them angels sitting pretty in the middle of them. Fighting with a man in the mirror till we go.
Y'all, my workshop is a mess and it's driving me absolutely insane. But, like, what can you do, you know? I mean, I could clean it up, I guess.
My temper and my tools, dialing down my restless, I grow in my reckless, and my reputation for breaking hearts and rules. Realize I got what I got, for it's gone. That's what this good old boys gonna go out working on. Working on coming to Jesus, thinking about wrestling with our roots, trying to turn off mama's tears and feel our daddy's blues.
Ah, it's the only glove I have handy.
Doing the best I can.
Don't think about that.
With this flesh and bone. Working on coming to Jesus, kicking about wrestling with our roots.
I went a little too fast on that one, I think. I don't know where my wire brush is. To be honest, I don't know where anything is. There's the drill. Hang on here.
This is Fast Twitch, a new energy drink from Gatorade.
It's a little hot. I had a lot of comments, or not comments so much, but saying that I couldn't weld. And no, I cannot weld. I am not a professional welder. But boy, I tell you, I'm welding more than y'all are. And I'm self-taught, alright? There's a lot of people that don't understand, so they criticize a lot of people about welding. They're like, oh man, your welds are so ugly. And it's like, yeah, but like, the only way I'm going to get better is if I keep doing these ugly welds and then I finally figure out, okay, this is what I need to be doing. So, I mean, I make no excuses. I am not a good welder, but I'm learning and perfecting my welding. And you know what? That's more than most people. So, while I'm out here perfecting and learning how to weld, most of y'all are sitting on your couch thinking about who's going to win the Super Bowl or what you're going to do this weekend and how much beer you're going to drink. And to be clear, I don't say that to criticize. I say that to inspire. Do something. Get out of your garage and do something. Get out of your yard and do something. Even if it's not fabricating or welding. Like, yeah, this isn't perfect, and I'm not a professional, but like, I just made this out of junk steel. Like, See if we can get some of those welds. Are they great? Not really. Is that gonna break? Nah. You could use that as a hammer. So now,
Target is giving away chargeable burgers celebrating International Burger Day 2028. Hundreds of burgers.
get into it, I might hit that. I'm thinking right there. Let me get a marker. Shut up. Ain't nobody trying to hear that negativity. So, we're going to mark the floor. That's good enough. Ugh. Guys, we're gonna have a race car here soon. Y'all just sit back and watch. Oh, sharp object flying. Calm down. That's a big gap. So it looks like if we trim the bottom, this front will drop down more. That side don't matter yet. Alright. I'm hesitant to cut that. No, I'm not. Burned the hell out of me. That burned at me. Yeah, still back. be honest, that didn't help a lot. Alright, so I think I'm going to start by welding the shifter, because it's going to be hard to weld around the console. So we'll weld the shifter first. That's what we'll do. Guys, that thing is razor sharp. I don't know if y'all know. I thought my wire speed got turned up, but it did not. I'm just not a good welder. That's all there is to it. Listen, if y'all ever hear me say I'm stacking dimes, it's because I'm wasting 10 cents of wire at a time. Go out there and say that right now. Oh. Listen, if any of y'all want to come teach me how to weld, I'll be more than happy to take a lesson. I just started learning about stick out on your wire and how much you need to let it stick out. That way the wire doesn't cool before it welds. And yeah, I just started learning about all that. I hate shifters like that. Like, I wish I could just eliminate that. Which I guess I could. Yeah, we can just zip tie that. So I think I'm going to cut that off. Hopefully I don't get any phone calls while I'm doing this because my phone's way over there. And I'm expecting an important call from a very prominent podcast feller on YouTube about having me on his show. So y'all cross your fingers on that. We might be able to do something cool like that. Also, everybody tag Dave Chappelle, not the comedian, Dirthead Dave. Tag him on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. Dirthead Shed. His name is Dave Chappelle, not like the comedian. Everybody needs to tag that guy and tell him he needs to come teach me how to fabricate and weld. Or I'll go out to Washington for a week and just get a crash course in welding and fabrication. That'd be ideal. Alright, I'm going to cut this video, guys. We'll be back. Guys, I don't think you realize how serious things have gotten here. We got the floor in, we got the console in, we got the passenger seat in, we got the shifter in. We got all the trim pieces in, kind of holding everything down. It's getting pretty serious. This will be covered by the seat, kind of like that side, luckily. So you won't see how ugly this is, but it is functional, and it's also going to be rhino lined. This is a trim piece holding these two pieces together on top of a seam like that. Also put one there up front. The shifter cable is hooked up the floor on that side. Passenger compartment. This is kind of goofy, but there's a weird notch there that I had to cut out for. Luckily it'll be rhino lined over and you won't notice it, but it's seamed all the way down into the back, across the top, and underneath this, as y'all saw, there's that big steel structure and another hoop under here for the drive shaft. Shifter mount is done. I'm going to build a switch panel right here But legroom is not great. For the passenger. But it's better than having no passenger. I want to do something on that seam, but this is bolted straight to the two big beams that I welded in underneath the car that hold the seats. So it's all pretty solid. After it's all sealed, painted, rhino lined, I'll give y'all an update. Paint shaker. That's how you shake paint. Alright guys, put the first coat of bed liner on. I didn't do kind of behind the seat and under the seat because, I mean, you're not really going to see that. But I did do kind of the dash. Oh, it runs so bad. Hopefully another coat will fix that. I'm not used to using this bed liner stuff, but I did the whole floor. And this is like a textured stuff, so like should add a little bit of grip too. But for a car that once only had one compartment, I'm gonna do this floor around here, the shifter, and then I'll probably do this seam over here under all that. But she's got an interior that you can stand on. You can stand in here, walk around in here. Freaking shifters. Beep, 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 beep. Shifter works. And it goes to a handmade bracket. Aww. That bracket retains it, and then this, let's see if I can zoom in. Okay, there we go. So this, oh, look at my hand. So this will attach to that little nub, and when the cable goes in and out, it will move that nub back and forth, thus shifting gears. Finnegan, little Finnegan promo there. There she is, guys. I've been working on this for days. You can see the firewall from this side. A lot of self-tappers holding the sheet metal together, but that's okay. I don't know what that was, but This firewall is screwed into this beam. The floor is screwed into this beam. You can see the beams I added in here. They run all the way across. That one right there runs all the way across to the middle, up, over, down, and like so. I bet I can get under here and kind of show you. There's the big beam that goes across supporting the floor. I got to get under here and weld this side, but you can kind of see it's a giant drive shaft loop essentially, but I'm going to weld those seams and those seams once I can get it up on a lift. So this is a little flimsy. I did weld in that bar right there. So the floorboard for the passenger is supported by this crossbar, this front brace, and this crossbar. So you can see they're screwed in. So you can actually stand on that. You couldn't put a lot of weight on it, but it's welded to the frame and whatnot. So that's a patch panel I had to make. So a lot of these patch panels I had to make from scratch because as you can imagine, these aren't things you just make. So that's just how it is though, you know. So we're gonna attach a harness to here, a harness bracket here, a harness bracket to the main hoop there, and then the seat will bolt to the crossbar and then probably to that bar. The driver's seat will just connect to that bar and then the two beams going across. Like I said, I didn't paint any of this after I welded it. The back firewall is not nearly as pretty in there. I still have to wire up the fuel. We got a lot of work to do still, but getting floors in the car was a huge milestone. And getting a passenger compartment. So I am going to put my switch panel, you see there, I'm going to build a box for it out of aluminum and screw it down to here. That way the passenger or the driver can shut the car down, fuel pump, battery kill switch, and turn the fan on if need be. Just stuff that, like, you know, we might have forgotten. But she's pretty sturdy. I don't know how sturdy it may rattle all these self-tappers apart. I don't know. I'm gonna have to adjust that spring to give it more oomph. But my shifter is welded in. I'm gonna cut this section off, probably pretty flush with the shifter, just because this is kind of sharp and my leg sits, you see the gas pedal, my leg sits right here. In the instance that I get into a tree sideways or roll over or something like that, my legs are flailing around, I don't want this slicing my leg open. Banging my knee on something is one thing, this slicing an artery is a different thing, so that's going to get cut off. And then gauges, we may put a tack back in here, we may not, we may cover this and put our factory Dodge cluster down here to where driver and passenger can see oil pressure, temperature, RPM, anything weird going on. So that's that. Hopefully the drive shaft is going to work out. I don't know. Tomorrow I am going to get the transmission lines so we will be able to finally hook up our transmission cooler. I'm going to go get the right lines to go into these fittings here. And then they'll be routed up to these lines, which run through the frame up to our tranny cooler. And I'm also going to pick up a new brake line for the rear and a brake line adapter for the front. And I'm going to see if I can find front hoses to go from here to the caliper. Which they don't have to be long, because there's the nipple. I can pretty much touch them. I've got a finger span of about 9 inches, so I mean, you figure suspension travel, if I can get about a foot long hose, that'll work. But it has to have the right nipples on it to go from here. This one needs a fitting, which a banjo boat might work for that. I don't really know. But anyway, guys, I'm going to close it out. Big truck in the background. Mostly finished interior race car. I am going to wrap these pipes and then weld a tab off of here to the pipe to keep it from wobbling. And I do have another window net. So we do have another safety quip. There's also a door panel that goes on here, just so everybody knows. We have another window net to go on the passenger side. But this is how she's looking, guys. I'm going to end it off here. I appreciate y'all. This video is probably going to be about an hour long, full of nonsense and random talking. I'm standing in front of the AC, so if it's loud, I'm sorry, but I'm hot. I'm going to go inside, I'm going to take a shower, I'm going to start editing. Tomorrow is going to be a field trip day. I probably will film some, but not all of what goes on tomorrow. So don't expect any updates probably until beginning of next week. I don't know what the date for that'll be. I don't even know what today's date is. But I don't think I have any doctor's appointments. I don't think I have any dentist appointments. So assuming everything goes okay, I should be able to get back out here and get on this thing pretty hard. So that's that, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed the video.